Yeah, this is Lalita Chaitanya, lecturer in Commerce, Garment City College. Today's topic is breach of contract and remedies for breach of contract. We are going to discuss. Let us move on to the definition. What do you mean by a breach of contract? Breach of contract is nothing but when an obligation involved in a contract is broken, then it is termed as breach of contract. When an obligation involved in a contract is broken, then it is termed as a breach of contract. If a party to contract does not fulfill his contractual obligation and make the performance of contract impossible, then he is liable for damages incurred by injured party. Is known as a breach of contract. Now let us move on to what are the different types of breach of contract. Breach of contracts is of two types or as follows. The first one is actual breach of contract and second one is anticipatory or constructive breach of contract. The actual breach of contract is nothing but actual breach of contract might take place at the time when the performance is due or during the performance of a contract. The first point is breach of contract at the time when the performance is due means in the case of breach of contract at the time when the performance is due, one party of a contract fails or refuses to perform his or her promise on the due date is known as breach of contract at the time. Means here when you are not following proper time, due to that time the contract is broken, then it will be called as a breach of contract. So here we'll move on to one example. The example is here P promises Q that he will deliver 100 bags of moong dal to Q on 1st May 2014. Here P is promising Q that he will deliver 100 bags of moong dal to Q on 1st May 2014. On the due date, P refuses to make delivery. Here the contract between P and Q is discharged by breach of contract. If time is not an essential aspect of the contract and the party in breach wants to perform his promise after the fixed time, then the other party may accept the performance on the condition that the party in breach would be compensated to him for non-performance at the fixed time. So, if the party not in breach wants to claim compensation from the party in breach, then prior notice concerning that should be sent to the party in breach. Here the performance is due. One party of a contract fails or refuses to perform a promise on the due date, so the contract is called as breach of contract. Let us move on to the second point, breach of contract during the performance of contract. In the case of breach of contract during the performance of contract, one party of a contract fails or refuses to perform his or promise during the performance of contract. The refusal to perform the promise might be either by express repudiation or implied repudiation. Let us move on to what do you mean by express repudiation. In the case of express repudiation, one party after performing his promise to some extent, that is partially refuses to perform the remaining promise by an action or by word. Here in case of express repudiation, one party after performing his promise to some extent, that is partially refuses to perform the remaining promise by an action or by word, is known as express repudiation. For example, P promises Q that he will supply Q 9 bags of wheat in 3 equal installments at a certain price. But here, after supplying 3 bags of wheat, P said to Q that he will not supply remaining 6 bags of wheat. There is an express repudiation by P. That is known as express repudiation. Let us move on to the implied repudiation. Here, in case of implied repudiation, one party by his act makes the performance of a contract impossible during the performance of contract. Repudiation implied from the action of the repudiating party is known as implied repudiation. Now, let us move on to the second point in the breach of contract is anticipatory or constructive breach of contract. This is the second type of breach of contract, that is anticipatory or constructive breach of contract. Anticipatory breach of contract takes place when one party of a contract informs the other party that he or she will not be performing his or her promise. The intention here the intention of not performing the promise is declared prior the due date is known as anticipatory breach of contract. Here means refusal to perform the promise might be either through express repudiation or implied repudiation is known as anticipatory or constructive breach of contract. Here, in express repudiation, under this, a party of the contract express his or her intention of not performing the contract either by word or by an action before the due date is known as express repudiation in anticipatory breach of contract. Let us move on to the example. P promises Q that he will supply 20 bags of rice to Q on 21st May 2014. Prior to this due date, that is on 18th May 2014, P informs Q that he won't be able to supply 20 bags of rice to him. Here, there is an anticipatory breach of contract by express repudiation. This is known as express repudiation in anticipatory breach of contract. Now, move on to the second point in the anticipatory constructive breach of contract is implied repudiation. Implied repudiation, here a party of a contract carries out some actions which makes the performance of contract impossible. Which makes the performance of a contract impossible. But here the party of a contract carries out some actions which makes the performance of a contract is impossible. To make you clear, I am giving one example to you here. A promises B that he will sell his house to B at rupees 24 lakhs on 20th May 2014. But before this date, A sold his house to C. That is third party. A sold his house to C. C is the third party. The action of A made the performance of a contract impossible. This is an anticipatory breach of contract by implied repudiation. According to section 39 of the Indian Contract Act is concerned with doctrine of anticipatory breach. Now, let us move on to the what are the remedies available for breach of contract. Every contract have some rights and obligation. A right does not have any worth if there is no remedy. To enforce that right in law court at a time of its infringement or breach of contract, a remedy is given by law through which right can be enforced. So here the following are the remedies available for the injured party at the time of breach of contract. The first remedy available for breach of contract is rescission of the contract. Rescission of the contract is nothing but if one party breaks the contract, then the other party can sue for considering the contract as cancelled and rejecting to perform further. So, here in this situation, he becomes aware of all his obligations under the contract. To make you clear, I am giving one example for you for rescission. X promises to sell his car to Z. X promises to sell his car to Z, and Z agrees to make payment on delivery of car. But if X does not deliver the car, then Z is discharged from liability to pay the price. Rescission is granted by the court when plaintiff considers the contract is voidable or contract is unlawful as the causes are not clear and the defendant is blamed more than plaintiff. Section 27 of the Specific Relief Act 1963 outlines the situation in which the court may not cancel the contract. When the contract is either expressly or impliedly approved by the plaintiff or when the parties cannot occupy their original positions due to the changing conditions, or when the third parties have acquired rights in good faith and for value while maintaining the contract, or when the parties agree to cancel only a part of contract but that part cannot be separated from the rest of the contract. Now, let us move on to the second point, suit for damages. Suit for damages. Here, damages are referred to monetary compensation allowed to the injured party. Damages are referred to as monetary compensation allowed to injured party as a remedy for breach of contract. The purpose of providing damage is to put the injured party in the same position as he or she was before the occurrence of loss. Here, some of the rules for awarding various types of damages under breach of contract. Ordinary damage or damage arising naturally. Ordinary damage or damage arising naturally means if a contract is broken due to the breach of one party, then injured party is liable to recover damages from other party. Such damages arises naturally, directly in usual course of business due to breach. These damages are known as ordinary damages. For example, P has contract to sell 50 quintals of rice to Q at rupees 500 per quintal, and payment is to be done at the time of delivery. But on delivery date, the price of the rice increased by 550 per quintal, and P refused to sell the rice. Q is entitled to claim for damage from P for breach of contract. Let us move on to some of the one more damage is called special damages or damages in contemplation of the parties. Special damages can be recovered due to the breach of contract where the purpose of contract was already brought into the notice of the party. But if party fails to serve the purpose according to the contract, then injured party is eligible to claim for the damages. Here the special damages can be claimed only in some special circumstances. For example, B, a trader, delivers some goods to railway company and asked them to deliver at a place. B, trader, delivers some goods to railway company and asked them to deliver at a place where festival was to be held. On the consignment note, it was clearly instructed that it should be delivered before Saturday. But railway authorities failed to deliver the goods on a specified day. Here B is liable to recover his damage or loss of profit from a railway company. And one more damage just we have discussed now ordinary damage, special damage, and one more damage is vindictive or exemplary damages. Vindictive or exemplary damage has no place in a contract of law as they are punitive in nature, involving punishment, but in few cases these damages are compensated. In case of wrongly dishonor of check by the banker, in case of breach of promise to marry in, and next move on to the nominal damages. Nominal damages refers to a nominal loss where injured party does not suffer any loss due to breach of contract. This loss is very small. It is just to acknowledge that plaintiff has proved his point and won. Damages for loss of reputation. Such damages are generally not recoverable, but in some exemptional cases it is awarded. Like this, so many damages will be there in the breach of contract. So here the suit of damages is nothing but that. Damages always refer to a monetary compensation allowed to the injured party as a remedy for breach of contract. The purpose of providing damage is to put the injured party in the same position he or she was before the occurrence of law, is known as suit for damage. Now move on to suit upon quantum merit. The meaning of the term quantum merit is as much as earned. As much as earned. An obligation to sue on a quantum merit occurs when a contract is performed by one party to some extent and becomes discharged by the breach of contract of other party. Thus, the party is not sued for original contract that has been discharged, but for implied promise made by the other party to pay in the event of breach is known as suit upon quantum merit. Now move on to the fourth point, suit for specific performance of the contract. Suit for specific performance of the contract means damages are not always an appropriate remedy for the breach of contract. In such situations, the court may address the party in the breach to perform his promise based on the terms and conditions of the contract. It is a direction for specific performance of the contract by the court in convenience of the party which is not in the breach. The following are the situations wherein the specific performance of contract can be enforced in the responsibility of the court. First point is when non-performance of act cannot be compensated in money, as it is an inadequate relief. Second one is when actual damage for non-performance of act cannot be determined. Let us move on to third point. When it is not possible to get the compensation in terms of money for the non-performance of act. Here the sum of the following are the cases wherein specific performance will not be provided. The first one is when damages are regarded as an appropriate remedy, when contract is not specific or unfair to either party, when a contract is revocable by its nature. Fourth point, when trustees make the contract in breach of their trust, when a contract involves a personal matter. Next, when a contract is made by a company on the basis of the past mentioned in the Memorandum of Association. Move on to the next, the performance of those contract which cannot be supervised by the court. So these are the following are the cases where specific performance will not be provided. Let us move on to the last point, that is a suit for injunction. Injunction refers to the order given by the court to restrict the party in breach from performing what he promised not to perform. Here usually providing an injunction by the court is discretionary, but court normally refuses to grant an injunction to restrict the breach of contract. Here, wherein promisor make a commitment not to do something which is negative in substance even though it is not in form. We will move on to some of the case laws related to the breach of contract. The first case law related to the breach of contract is here Watson agreed to sell his ship to James for rupees 1,60,000. Watson agreed to sell his ship to James for rupees 1,60,000. But James breached the same by not buying the ship. Watson, in want for money, forced to sell the ship for rupees 1,50,000 to others. Explain the justice available to Watson. The answer for this case is, in the above case, a contract was made between Watson and James, wherein the Watson agreed to sell his ship to James for rupees 1,60,000, but James breached his contract by not buying the ship. In this situation, Watson can sue James for the breach of contract, as the law provides justice to injured party in terms of the rescission. Rescission is a remedy available to the suffering party to overcome the loss or a damage. Thus, rescission is a remedy available to Watson. Now, let us move on to the second case. Second case law related to the breach of contract. To make you clear, N, a film actress, agreed to act for W. N, a film actress, agreed to act for W, and no one else during that year. But she entered into contract with Z. Explain rights of W. An agreement, here the question is that the answer for this case is an agreement of a service under which N, a film actress, agreed to act for W for a specific period of time, and no one else during that period is a valid agreement. In this case, even though N agreed to act for W and no one else, she entered in contract with a Z, that is third party. So under this situation, we will have the following rights under the Indian Contract Act 1872. So what are the rights? We will see now. N, the film actress cannot be forced to work with W. N is a film actress, cannot be forced to work with W. The second point is N may be compelled not to work with any other film producer except for W as per the terms of the agreement. And let us move on to the third case law related to the breach. A contracts to repair B's house. A contracts to repair B's house and receives payment in advance. Here, they received advance. A repairs but not according to the contract. Is B entitled to recover from A the additional cost of making the repairs as per the contract? The answer for this case is yes, B is entitled to recover from A the additional cost of making the repairs as per the contract. Let us move on to the Thank you.